What's heavenly?
The light in the upper right corner over my shoulder.
Yeah.
It's time for me to go. It's just what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it just happened
It's
to be
your
when
room
we were
letting you know.
It's my room's preparing me for the moment of death. This is how I prepare for it.
Yeah. Jeff, this is where you're going to die.
Okay.
Have we talked about that on a pod? Do you want to know? Would you want to know your time and
I think
place
it was
of
one
death?
of your like what it maybe like your one
Or was it one
no.
of those, would you rather live to like 100 but something, or live another,
Yeah.
it was like live another 10 years and they're great, or another 70 but you have regrets. But
Yeah.
if you would you want to do you want to know? I guess with that, I mean,
You
would
say,
it
do
affect your
you
life?
want to know, as if there is a viable option? Like I'm
Listen,
being presented with a legitimate option. Be like, Jeff, I have this deck of cards. And if you want to know the exact date and time of your demise, I'll look at the cards. Like we'll figure it out. We'll let the cards let you know. No, I don't want to know. I mean, maybe if it's like 10 minutes before. Like give me a 10-minute heads up.
10 minutes? That'd be the
Yeah.
worst 10 minutes ever, huh? Like just imagine being what if it happened when you're on a flight? On the shitter in a flight.
Oh, yeah.
If you let's say you are on a flight and you get the 10-minute bell.
Yeah.
Do you run out in the plane and tell everybody
That I'm gonna die?
that you're all gonna, well,
no,
do you just
I
say
could
I'm
have
gonna
a
die, or
heart
do you say
attack.
we're all gonna die?
I could have a heart attack on the shitter in a plane.
That's true.
And that could be how I go. Like that's the irony is like, yeah, you're flying in a plane and it's like, oh my God, the plane's gonna crash. But in reality, that's not what happens. Like I choke on the snacks that the flight attendant brought me, and I die from something I truly love, and that is a what do you call those little like not the things that come with pretzels and Chex
The
Mix?
Giardino, the little pumpkin,
the
or the
wheat
pumpkin seed.
the wheat thing.
Yeah, we all know what you're talking. Wait, the little
The hell is it
Gargettos?
called? Yeah, not like a bagel chip, but a chip made of like rye chips. Rye chips.
Sure.
I choke on a rye chip on the plane because
As you're
she
telling
didn't give
everybody
me.
we're all gonna die, and it's just you.
She didn't give me the full can of beverage. She only poured enough so I could enjoy it, but I made the mistake of drinking the beverage first, and then I choked down the dry rye chip.
Yeah, you're like, it's cash only.
But I love too that with the 10-minute bell, I still in my last moments decided to eat some of the snacks that I just remembered I had had. The 10-minute bell went off, and I composed myself by having some Chex Mix. And that's the way I go. I've confused my priorities. Isn't it supposed to come to me? Yes, this is how it's meant to be. Every little thing flashing on a screen. My daddy worked hard for this.
Do you think that that woman on the flight who was like, that person ain't real, she was going through that? She got a 10-minute bell.
Wait, what person ain't real? What are you talking
Do you know about this? The woman that freaked out on the plane?
That doesn't narrow it down in 2023 America.
I'm gonna have to find this. It was like within the last month.
Okay.
And she just got up on a plane, and here, I'll share this with you. It was a pretty hot video for a couple of weeks. Airplane lady freak out, YouTube. Well, I don't want to watch some video, or just give me the vid. Give me the raw
74,000 hits.
Yeah. Here, TMZ is a reputable source. We'll share it. So this woman was on a plane and just got up and started like freaking out, saying like, this ain't real, like that person's not real, or something like that. Here, do we really have a commercial we got to get through? All right.
Sounds like it.
We'll get through this. But she's standing up on the plane, and She's I don't know if she thinks the person in the back is like a lizard person or something like that. She's like,
Sure.
that fucking thing is not real.
Say whatever you want. I'm telling you, I'm getting the fuck off, and there's a reason why I'm getting the fuck off, and everyone can either believe it or they cannot believe it. I don't give two fucks, but I am telling you right now, that motherfucker back there is not real. And you can sit on this plane and you can fucking die with them or not. I'm not going to.
That was it. Yeah.
That's the whole thing?
Yeah. But it blew up. But imagine just being that dude. Imagine you're the guy on the plane. You're just like, what the fuck? And then
Right. Was she
do you
sitting
have a?
next to the person?
I think so. Yeah. But imagine you're
Oh,
that guy, and then you're like, wait, am I not real? I'm about to take a
that's
flight, and
true.
it already
Yeah.
freaks me
Yeah,
out.
that probably messes you up for at least a couple years.
So that happens, and then your 10-minute bell hits.
Oh wow, yeah. I mean that's
That woman
interesting, but
poisoned somebody.
I'm still getting them ride trips.
Yeah. What a way to live. Is that I mean, that's kind of that's an infamy move, you know? You go down with it. Um, but why not just ride into it? I mean, what was their biggest fear? Is that it was a lizard person
Where
or
do
a
you keep getting
ghost?
this lizard person from?
I
Did
think
she
that's the thing.
mention?
I think people who don't there's a larger than you'd like to think group of people in the country and the world who have a conspiracy that a lot of human beings are truly like lizard people. It goes in with like the Bigfoot stuff and the fake moon landing, like the people that are really into the History Channel, Ancient Aliens. Like, there's this whole, for some reason, you can't just believe one of those
Why
things. You got to believe them
lizards?
all. Yeah.
Why
So like,
lizards?
I don't know. Is this turning into a Joe Rogan podcast?
Yeah, kind of.
um,
No, I mean,
just
there's
stuff
all
I don't know
different
about, but
slices of crazy out there. That's the beautiful part about people who are crazy is every time you hear something, you go, "Oh, that's kind of new. That's a new take on it."
mhm.
So good for
um,
them.
I wouldn't mind a. What if you got into a plane crash? Would
Yeah.
you take it? would you would you be in the plane crash if you knew you would survive and have to have like a lost scenario? So you'd crash onto a deserted island, didn't know anything. Most of the people on the plane survive, and you're one of them. Do you do that for the experience?
For the experience, but
For
who
the
am I telling
experience.
about the
I
experience?
know. Yeah.
Like, I mean, I'll probably opt out. You to put this together. You sound like you want to do that.
I think I would if I knew I was going to survive. Because when
Survive
do you
the
get
plane
that chance?
crash.
You know. Yeah.
Survive the
I
plane
mean, there's a
crash,
chance
which
you.
then you get eaten by a monster on the
Mhm.
island, literally moments after you emerge from the crash.
I guess there's a chance you don't survive the island, or
There's a
not
really
long
good
after the
chance
crash. Yeah, this is a good chance. But what a story, huh?
if you
Again, that I don't know.
survive. It's not a
Yeah.
story if you don't survive because you can't share it with anyone else because the only people you're sharing it with are the people who also endured the same thing. So your your one epic event actually is no longer epic because the only people you can share your epic story with are the other people who lived the epic story. So how messed up is that? If you die on the island, your event isn't uncommon. You're in the most common event on that island, which everyone experienced. Every other part of your life is interesting, but the surviving a plane crash isn't because everyone else has done it before.
Oh, yeah. I didn't think about it that way.
So there
Um,
you go.
well, I would get a jump on. I would probably be one of those things where I feel like it's a new crew of people and nobody knows about me yet. So maybe I could start like the island Tinder or something like that.
Okay.
Be like,
Do
listen,
you
guys, we got to
do
start
you
making
make up your
babies.
backstory, or do you go like it
Oh,
doesn't matter?
absolutely. I do that when I
Make
get
up
on
the
the plane.
backstory.
Yeah, I've already
Okay.
started that process.
Okay.
I'm pretty much a
That had nothing to do
100%
with the plane
plane
crashing.
liar. Nope.
Are you?
Yeah, if somebody talks to me on the plane, I'm making up lies the whole time. It's one of my favorite things to do. I think mentioned on this podcast before. If I didn't, I faked a British accent on like a whole flight. I don't know if it was very good or not, but I just went with it because yeah, I used to travel and I used to have some drinks in the airport, and then I would just go with whatever character I wanted to be in that day. Be like, I'm traveling for
Wow.
work. Yes, I am a taxidermist, and somebody needs me to come and do their very elderly dog.
You're a traveling taxidermist?
Yes, I'm very good. I specialize in three-legged old dogs. That's my
Wow.
thing. It's hard
Oh,
to get
you have
him to
a
stand.
you
Four
have a
legs is
three-legged
easy.
you have
The
a
three legs is
three-legged young
hard.
you have a
Yeah,
three-legged
yeah,
young dog? I'm sorry, I don't do
yeah,
those.
yeah. And good luck getting a lamp in there without the skills. I've been trained.
Wow.
What skills would you? Because I think about lamp and light to the island.
Mm.
I don't really. Do you think you have any skills you could bring? Like, how would we even make light? I think I could.
Skills as
Yeah.
in
Like if we had to start over, or maybe you could
right,
use
what
materials from the plane.
I have planning and delegation skills.
Say, yeah,
That's where I'm going to come
yeah.
shine.
Hey, once y'all figure this
Planning and
out, I'd be great at
delegation.
training people on it.
Yep,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
Exactly.
If you guys need a
You
form
tell
filled out,
I I'm basically the guy from Office Space. I work with the engineers so that the other
yeah.
passengers don't have to. So like I learn from the engineers and then I teach what the
Mhm.
engineers taught me because they can't teach and deal with the questions and stuff. So I deal
Once
with the
this place
customers.
develops currency,
Mm,
um, has a human resources department,
right,
has
exactly.
immigration
Maybe I work up
office,
to
like
maybe I work up to comptroller of the island.
yeah, that'd be
But
someone's got to make light. That's for sure.
okay.
Hey, who here?
See, I'm not
Hey,
that guy. I mean, I can build a fire,
hey, who
but
here
with
can
limited
build
resources, I could
electricity?
probably make it up. Yeah. All right, put them up.
Yeah, fire guy,
Raise your hands. Put them up. Put them up.
fire guy.
Yep. So it's
Um,
a learning process. I got nothing but time.
in regard to training, I'm doing this kind of class program at work for 12 weeks.
Mm.
It's week 3, so I have it tomorrow morning, and it's this
Does
Dale
anyone
Carnegie
ask you if you're
program.
excited to be there?
Basically, are
Good.
you happy to be here? But it's like
Hmm.
this Dale Carnegie. I don't know if you've ever done any Dale Carnegie books. It's like the How to Win Friends and Influence People, the Art of Public
Oh,
Speaking. He wrote in the early 20th century, so it's hilarious because a lot of his books are like, they're earnestly and authentically trying to get people to, know how to open up to people instead of like being director or dictatorial or something like that to people. It's like how to actually reach out to people, especially your employees, your team, stuff like that. But the book's hilarious. It's like anybody can do this, whether you're an architect, an oil entrepreneur, or even a housewife.
oh,
Like yeah, it's like really kind of old timey.
yeah.
But it has like
Boy,
pretty universal skills about communicating. But this week it's on Zoom, and we each have to tell a 90-second story about a defining life moment. So the idea is to be concise, but
wow.
make kind of like a presentation about it. And it can be anything, but I think it's about maybe who we are right now or who we're trying to be in regard to things that will be related to work, but like communication, stuff like that. And so some examples were like the guy that's leading the class said something about being in a soccer team or something like that, and he scored a goal and he didn't think he would be able to score a goal, and the coach wouldn't put him in. And I was like, that's kind of lame.
Was that fifth quarter though? Because that doesn't
Yeah, it
count.
wasn't. Yeah,
That's not
fifth quarter
inspiring.
goals, but it's hard. It's hard to kind of think of like a life defining thing. The best. I mean, mine's probably going to come from a place of negativity because that defines my life, I think. But all
Sure.
within kind of like the same week. So the girl that I moved to Texas for broke up with me, and then a supervisor at UT had a conversation with me about like we talked about before, not saying good morning, and it was like kind of like the first that I just hit a brick wall of like people have feelings and I should like care about them, and I probably wasn't doing that at all in my life, kind of thing. Where it was like before that I was definitely in a mode of like, no, that feeling is wrong. The feeling that you have is wrong. And I'm going to tell you that instead of just like, I had zero empathy, completely zero empathy. And that was the first time it ever smacked me in the face of like, I got to learn what this is about because I'm alone now in a place where I don't have any friends and nobody at my job likes me either. I found out. So I got to figure something out. And I know like I was a product of my environment, which I'm fine to say, but I was like, well, my environment changed, and so maybe I need to change. Is that 90 seconds?
Oh, was I supposed to be keeping time?
I don't know. But that's the
Well,
idea. I don't know.
ish.
Can you think of something?
On the spot. Yeah, sure. I mean, geez. I mean, God, we all have life defining moments basically every day.
Yeah.
Um, mm,
Remember the first time I had sour
what?
shower sex. That was good. That was life defining. I don't know if that's going to work for
Is it
training
life
though.
defining?
Yeah.
Not sure. I'm not sure you're understanding the assignment.
Yeah, I was like,
I'm not.
oh man, how is this even possible? The shower is so tiny, but this is
Here we
working.
are.
Hey, I can't reach the shampoo.
Jesus Christ. No, I don't. I don't know, man. I don't know that I've had life defining moments. I mean, I don't know. I don't think at any given moment I can pinpoint when I've had like epiphanies and stuff like that. I think it's
That's
a
kind of where I'm at.
gradual I think it's gradual concepts. So life defining moments, I don't know that I buy into that concept. So
Well, part of it
there
is
you
too,
go.
I think, in the class is that I feel like part of it is you're just inventing it and performing it more than you are like necessarily meaning it, you know? So I think it's supposed to be sort of one of those things where you kind of engage with people and present something to try to
Yeah,
like have charisma and be a part of a team and kind of open yourself up. So it
so
doesn't have to be. I think I might be a little bit of airplane guy in this class,
I
and
agree.
kind
And
of
you want
invent
to know
things.
what? I think to a certain degree that's everyone. And I think that it's kind of a foolish assignment because I think that's the kind of bullshit that it's like, well, yeah, my defining moment is realizing that this class is 50% legit and 50% bullshit that you're going to try to extract these types of things from us. Like, because it is. It's like you don't, like, yeah, I would argue that you don't have life defining moments. No, that's fucking great for movies and TV shows, but I don't think that's really how our mindset works. Our mindset, even when you have like a loss or a negative that stems change, that change isn't instant. Like that takes you a while to digest it. You probably don't realize that it was as intense until later on. So you keep doing wrong, and then you gradually think about it, let it marinate and such. So yeah, the fact that someone's asking you to be like 90 seconds to tell me that life defining moment and keep us interested but keep it concise. Fuck off. Like you want 90 seconds of something that's life changing? Eat shit. Dum dum. Yeah, that's fucking
Okay.
dumb. I don't like your assignment or the guy who's
That is one big pile of shit.
putting this together. Yeah, fuck that.
Yeah.
That's dumb.
Well, because we got to read these books too along with it, and I even put that in the comments tonight because it's like, give us something about 2 pages of this book that resonated with you, and part of it was so I'm reading this section about how to, you know, have an influence on people or what it means to be integrated with people, and it's a lot of like, you know, kind of like be aware of or of people's eagerness essentially, like know what they want, like know what people
Okay.
want so that you can um basically use that. So it's kind of in a way it was like very like seedy, sordid, salesman-y type stuff. And I think a lot of it was like a lot of guys that read this book were just trying to be salesmen or marketers or ad guys and stuff like that. So part of it's like, and I wrote that I was like, doesn't seem as genuine as I would like it to be because I appreciate the idea because I do want to know people that work for me like about their lives and if they like working here, and like I like that just because I like the human part of it, like being human beings at work and stuff. And I don't
No,
want to like exploit them. That's
it's
not what I
not.
want to do.
No, that's when it comes to training, it's all depending on who's delivering it. But that's the problem is that some people are good talkers and some people are being genuine, but they have to be the exact same person when they're training it. So some people are going to say, it's really good to ask this about your associates and blah 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 because that's what they want to hear. But when you hear that, you're like, oh, so it doesn't matter if I actually give a shit about them. I want them to think I give a shit about them. And that's what they're actually training you. They're not training you to change your emotions. It's called emotional intelligence, meaning understand how to work with other people's emotions, not how you should harness your own emotions. And that is a big gimmick in the corporate world today, is emotional intelligence. But it doesn't want you to be a good person. It wants you to understand that people are emotionally connected to others. So this is how you have to at least display that you care about their emotions. They never actually tell you to give a shit about their emotions. So yeah,
No.
it's
It's
all
how do you
perpetrated
exploit
corporate
this?
bullshit. Yeah, it's how do you exploit it?
Well, I actually, as I'm saying, I want to be genuine. I just took a disc assessment this week, actually a
Oh
couple
yeah,
days
who
ago. I
doesn't
don't know if you
like a
ever
good
done
disc
that.
assessment? You bet.
I'm an INS, but in the paragraph it did say Matt has a good idea knowing what people want to hear, and and then he says the things that people know that he knows people want to hear. I was like, oh,
You're
I do.
manipulative. Congrats.
Sometimes though, I also say things that people definitely don't want to hear. I've been guilty of that for
I would
sure.
believe. I would agree with that.
Yeah. So yeah, one in hand, bush in the other. I don't know,
Two
something like
birds
that.
in one stone.
Yeah, two,
Two
two stones
birds,
in one
two
hand and a
stones,
bush in the
two
other.
stones in the bush
Yeah,
with the elephant
yeah,
who doesn't forget. You know what they say?
yep, absolutely.
Take it from me.
Um, so welcome, Strange Fam, to episode 31.
Oh wow, that was a great intro. That's a good solid intro. That intro. Okay, if the
Yeah,
intro took 20 minutes, so we should have. All right, well, then we should start our wrap up so we can get within that 30, 40
yeah.
minute range. So,
I
wrapping
honestly
up
just
our
looked at the
episode.
bottom. I was like, did we start recording this? I just didn't realize that for a second.
Good.
Hey, and send us words, Strange Fam. Let us know. Send us 3 random words, please.
Even if
Desperate.
you use a word randomizer, we're not looking for effort on your part. We're
Nope.
just looking to not have effort on our
Minimal.
part. And evidently,
Even if you already
if you're following along, us generating the words is evidently too much effort. So I don't know if we're doing this to get you involved or to just minimize our effort.
right.
Either way, contribute, because Matt's manipulative and he wants you to contribute, and he'd really appreciate it, and he understands that you want to feel more connected to the show. So for
Yes, yeah.
your sake, please feel free to send something in because we care. Did I do that right? Yeah. Thank you.
Nice.
Thank you. Yeah.
For this week, we reached into the bag of old words that never got talked about, or maybe briefly got talked about. I didn't remember talking about them. So we're going to go with balloon, pin, and apple.
Okay.
Balloon, pin, and apple.
Okay.
I can tell why we didn't talk about them because they're really tough words to come up with.
They are. So
really
Apple, what I thought of is not the fruit, but actually the company. So one, I wanted to reminisce about the days of old where I want to say it was in middle school when they rolled out. I don't think it was elementary. But when Apple came out with those iMacs and all the different colors, I remember when our schools like switched out to those. I'm like, these things are dope. I'm like, these things are rad looking. And then I felt the mouse and I'm like, what the fuck is this one-clicked circle bastard mouse? And then I saw how like the interface works. I'm like, oh, that's right. I have a PC at home. This is a nightmare. So I bailed on Apple. I probably held a lot of resentment towards Apple for that. However, once in my life, I did have an Apple product, and that was an iPod. If I had to guess on the generation, I'd say third or fourth. It was color. It was color, but didn't do video. I don't think. Like it was color, and I think you could put photos maybe on it. I only used it for music. But then where it went missing. And long story short, like me and a couple buddies at college, we were like deciphering what had happened and that there was a party and that we basically blamed this girl, Dee Dee, for stealing it.
Dude, fuck Dee Dee.
Yeah, horrible. I don't know where you are, but Dee Dee, if you're part of the Strange Fam, you're out of here. You're not welcome.
Yeah.
You should delete this podcast now.
Yeah. Download, but don't listen.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
5 stars. Send your 5 stars and get out of here.
So, so what though that led to was me needing a new product, and that is when I bought my Microsoft Zune. I owned the illustrious
Dude, Zune.
Microsoft Zune, which was supposed to be taking over the world. I will
Wow.
say this: the Zune had a really cool format when iTunes was basically the standard on everyone's computer, but it was pretty boring. You know, it was just that steel color and black and white text. Whereas Zune had like the rotating like albums, and like it would draw images from the internet of like the band that you were playing. So I'm like, this is really cool. And
That was a sweet amenity.
my Zune would do the same thing. And the one weird thing that luckily I had one buddy who also had a Zune, and for those that know, you would already know this, but I bet a lot of people don't know this, is that if you had someone else who had a Zune, they could loan you an album or loan you a song. They could
Loan you?
Yeah, they could
Like rent
have
it
the
out to you?
music. They could have the music on their Zune. And if you were near each other, you could transfer like an album to someone else, and it would give them like 5 playthroughs, and then it would remove itself from their Zune. So you could loan an album to someone to give them like a sample of music that they could listen to for 5 turns, and then it would go away. That
It
was
sounds so dumb
pretty high
now.
tech. It's very stupid now, but at the time, I'm like, this is kind of great, even though we were all illegally downloading, and all it would simply take is going back. But like on the fly, you could be like, yo, I'm listening to this new album. You should listen to this.
I mean, I
So,
remember having knockoff MP3 players in college, especially. I never actually had an iPod proper until I had an iPhone. But I used to have whatever generic like Compaq or one of those computer brands that you had to pop the SD card, the giant SD card. I
mm-hmm.
did for a while. I don't know if you know. I had a PSP. PSP life was pretty good to me in like 2006, 7, um, 5, 6, 7. I don't know. But PSP was like a Nintendo Switch, but 15, 16, 17 years ago,
Yeah.
where it had and the brilliant idea there was not only could you buy the little game cartridges you put in, but you could buy movies too. If you wanted to carry a bunch of discs with you, you could bring them.
That's
And
awesome.
essentially, I just jailbroke it so that I could put NES and SNES emulators on it. But I used to bring it with me traveling all the time when I was working, when I was doing that travel for work. And that was probably my favorite piece of technology.
Yeah.
I did have a BlackBerry for a moment before the iPhone world came out.
I had no
And that
Blackberries,
was fun.
no iPhones. I've always been
I
an
didn't get an
Android
iPhone
fella.
until I don't know, the early 2010s. But now I wouldn't go back. That's my Apple allegiance. I had to use an Apple computer for work when I worked at the University of Texas,
Mm.
and I got used to it because I hadn't been since elementary, yeah, whatever, public school, since using an Apple. Because we in elementary school we had like the big boxy ones with the Oregon Trail. Remember?
Oh yeah.
I remember learning how to type with a cardboard box over our hands so we couldn't cheat. Except all you had to do was lean back and cheat to type through. Do some math blasters.
I was gonna say shout out to Number Munchers. That was
Number
also
munchers, yeah,
an
yeah, yeah,
OG.
yeah. Well, good for apples.
Yeah, I hear
For
they're doing
apples,
okay.
I did think that one year when I worked in DC, we did a potluck dinner, and I made a dessert with apples, like cinnamon apples, like an old family recipe. It took me several hours to make. I had to core them, cut them, cook them in like red hots. Essentially, they were tasty, but it's fun. I feel like potlucks aren't as much of a thing as they were in my early professional career, and I'm probably okay with that
Yeah,
in a
like food
way.
days. We called them food days, but yeah, where everyone brings
Hmm.
in something for lunch.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
What's your take on? Well, I guess you don't experience it anymore, but do you have a vibe on food in the office, whether it's the company doing it or whether it's somebody else bringing it? Does it affect your your workplace satisfaction?
No,
I'm gonna say no.
like
I was gonna say that's got to be
yeah,
a hard
it
no from
makes
you.
it makes a good workplace like enjoyable, like a fun activity, but like as soon as management's trying to fix something or be like, because we did this, you get pizza, that has like a real bad luck. Because
Yeah.
people are like, oh no, good news. If you're wondering, like, and or they'll send out emails and go, we want to know what would mean a lot to you and stuff. And people are like, oh, I don't know, pay. Increase of pay is almost a guaranteed thing to make me happy. So like all it is again just an effort to distract you from wanting more money. That's all reward is at the office. And I don't like it.
I can take it or leave it. I mean, a lot of times I don't have it because it's not food that I necessarily want to eat. I do miss. I'd rather do a potluck though, when people bring in food because at least there's like an element of we're doing something. I guess. Um, I do like in an office though when there is like a cake or a pie. My favorite part of that is watching people continuously cut the last piece into halves and halves and halves until there's like an infinite like because nobody ever wants to take the last piece of something, so you just watch people like
Quantum physics of pie slicing.
yeah, it's hilarious. I loved it. It was I would like sit in the kitchen and just watch people keep cutting it. I'm like, dude,
The
just take it. It's
standard
like, nah,
the
I
standard
don't want to.
deviation of pie.
Because you always feel like a fatty. If you take the last piece, it doesn't matter how small it is. If you take the last piece, you're a fatty and you
Well,
can't
the
control
proper
yourself.
office way to do that is to slice up at least half of a cake or pie and you do the put it on plates and leave the plates out so that people don't feel
Yeah, yeah.
as bad running up and doing a side swipe. Um, but yeah, there's nothing more awkward than doing it like in elementary school and you're like, hey, we got everyone pizza. That being said, please only take one slice and then we'll like if then don't do anything. You can't you gotta look baller if anything and have to like wrap stuff up at the end, but you can't bring not enough. It's a big danger.
Um, and it also reminds me, so for Thanksgiving, when I was in Texas, I had a lot of orphan Thanksgivings and Christmases where like I wouldn't necessarily be able to come home. So I had a buddy, Jordan. So he was from Nebraska, so he wouldn't go home all the time either. So Thanksgiving, a lot of times he and I would just get together. We'd get like ribs and stuff like that, make food that we wanted, like barbecue stuff.
Yeah.
We would just go to his place and that would be our Thanksgiving. Like get some sides, like do, whatever. And honestly just kind of get fucked up and play NHL, watch
There
football
you go.
on
There
Thanksgiving.
you go.
And I was thankful, believe you
And I
me.
was thankful, right?
Uh,
And it worked.
and I kind of got used to Christmas because a lot of times, especially working in retail jobs where couldn't necessarily go because like that's the busiest time of the year. So I would often most of my Christmases when I was in Texas, I would Skype with my family. So they would put me in like this, put me on a Zoom or whatever, or Skype
Mm-hmm.
and pass me around, or I would just be like in the circle. I'd send some presents or something, or they send me some, and I would pretend I was sitting around the tree. I kind of liked it because we'd have a lot of times. I think I'd have a tree set up at my place, but I think I would like sleep in the living room wherever I was, have the Christmas story playing all night, and just wake up and just have a chill day with the fam. But then, yeah, then just be in Texas the rest of the day. It was kind of unusual, but there was like a certain charm to it, especially when I worked at the wine and the liquor store. It's kind of one of my favorite Christmas Eves because it would be open till like 9, but nobody's coming in after like 3 o'clock. So I would just be at this store like by myself for hours, just looking into an empty parking lot. But I always put like Christmas lights and stuff in the store. Just played like the cheesy music and just was like by myself. And I kind of like liked it. It was very nostalgic. Like it became the way of Christmas for me. And then I'd probably like sneak a little whiskey or something, go to the tasting cabinet and just start sipping a little for the rest of the
You
night
you
and
rascal.
really enjoy it. There's a certain pleasant feeling, especially when the holidays are chaos. If people come to the store every day or whatever store you're in, and then all of a sudden that night before Christmas, it just dies, and you just get to be by yourself and enjoy it. I really like that. I'm nostalgic for it now, but
Interesting.
yeah.
Interesting.
How do you do your holidays now? Like
Uh
between you, Caitlin?
yeah, I mean back and forth and it's it is what it is. I've been traveling. I've been kind of in the same spot where I've had to travel for holidays if I want to partake in them. So it's always boils down to are you coming home for the holidays? And yeah, part of it's like, you want to what? I want to, and I want to see people. I'm not close, like, and I don't want to make that drive. So I make it sometimes, and sometimes if it seems like it's going to be an issue with, taking time off or anything like that, or just the distance and weather, stuff like that, I've missed holidays for the last 13 years, since 2010. My holiday sessions have been hit or miss. So it is what it is. It sucks. Um, because I've always felt like I had to be the one traveling for the holiday. So yeah, there's a little bit of a bitter taste to it, because I'm like, you guys also move, your feet,
Yeah.
and you have cars, and it's like, I know it's wacky because multiple people moving for one person is so silly, Jeff. The economics just aren't there. One body should move. So that's, just kind of the general mindset. So I don't know. I'm not nostalgic for a lot of stuff. I appreciate the holidays for what they are, but it's rare. The concept of nostalgia, eh. I mean,
Holidays are for kids, really. I feel like if you have kids, then it's important. Maybe that's just a
absolutely.
guy talking who was away from home for a long time and doesn't have kids, and so it like seemed to like carry less weight more and more. But when you have, if there's grandkids involved or something like that, it's a big deal. Like, I mean, really, it's like my niece and nephew. Like, it's really for them. I think Christmas. It's like,
Right. I mean, yeah, being like enjoying vicariously through them is the real goal and the enjoyment of it. So, I mean, other than that, it's just another family gathering that can go right or wrong. So it's always a roll of the
yeah,
dice. And, the roll of the dice on being on December 25th is just just another roll of the dice. So
yeah.
I don't know. That brings us to
Oh wait,
balloon.
so balloon for balloon. Speaking of family gatherings and parties, I just wanted to give myself a pat on the back for this weekend. It was my niece's birthday party. Izzy
Hmm.
turned 14, which seems so old now. Ninth
Yeah.
grader. That's a big deal. But I got her a card. I didn't know what to get her. I know I think she had been into the office a little bit. I had seen, I don't know. It just, I found a Dwight Schrute card that I liked. And I was like, this seems funny. It's like basically him being like, don't be an idiot on your birthday kind of thing. And I was like, this is funny. She'll like this. And I show up and there's a bunch of balloons at the party and they're all the office related. It's like a whole office theme party. And I was like, dude,
Wow.
look at me just crushing it.
Nailed it.
Came
It
in
is your
swinging.
birthday.
It is your birthday. That was on the cake. It did say it is your
Yep.
birthday. But it was kind of a hero uncle moment
Wow.
for me. So there were balloons. That was basically the only balloon thing I could think of. I don't know if
I
you had anything.
I do not like balloons. Is a really hard word to try to come up with a story that you remember from balloons. Like I was never on Double Dare, and so like I always feel like game shows in the '90s used balloons awful lot. Um, but other than that, not being on a kids game show, I really don't know much other of when you would use balloons. So I
Would
got
you ever
nothing.
ride on a hot air balloon?
Never in a million fucking years.
Yeah.
No, that looks insane. It's chaotic.
That's 8 minutes from
It
death.
doesn't make any sense to me. Yeah. I'm not even going up after my 10-minute bell rings. I'm like, nope,
Yeah.
still not doing it. Like, it
It's
doesn't make
just safer
sense.
to cliff dive.
Right. Like, it's like, oh, I got an idea. Let's tie a massive balloon to this a wicker basket, and then we're going to use fire to raise the balloon. I'm like, but don't balloons set on fire? And they go, no, no, no. Trust me, you'll love it. It's going to make sense. Okay, so how do I know what direction we're going in? Well, they can control it. It doesn't look like they can control it. I think
No,
the
it
wind.
doesn't at
I
all.
think the wind has a way better say into what direction you go. So it's like I believe that you can maybe manage the idea of like when you're going up and when you're going down. I don't understand directional. How are you driving a hot air balloon? How? Where's the propeller? What's determining the left, right? It's like a fucking shitty Wonka-vator. Like, it is just this terrible thing that's supposed to go in every direction, but I don't understand it, so I'm not buying it.
Yeah, I don't need. I mean, and it's like, oh, the wind is a little too much today. We can't do it. It's like it's 7 miles an hour. Like when can you when can you get this hot
Right.
air balloon
What are you
out?
insinuating happens if a gust occurs? Oh, if there's a gust, sir, if we hit 10 miles an hour, we're all fucking dead. So no, I don't
Yeah.
want to go up in your stupid balloon. We've gone past the need for balloon travel. We've gone far past it with way more successful things. So why are we still doing balloons? Knock it off.
Would you skydive?
I would skydive before I bungee jump. Absolutely.
Yeah,
Skydive
same.
over bungee jump. Nope. Bungee jump.
Yeah,
Nope. I'm getting
bungee
wrapped
jump
around
seems
like a baby with an
yeah,
umbilical cord. Not happening. Nope. Dead.
no. Plus, bungee jump always seems like your head barely misses the rock down below, and
Yep.
then maybe barely misses the bridge
Yep.
going
And then
back up.
pendulum actions and stuff like. There's no. And I'm not trusting the person who's setting this up. Like, no,
Yeah.
absolutely not. At least in a skydive, it's like, well, all I have to do is get out of the plane. Everything else is going to happen, whatever it happens. Like, if the parachute works, awesome. If it doesn't, well, I got some time to think and reflect.
It's nice to know somebody's going with you. Like, hey, if I'm going, I'm not going to die alone. I'm going to pull the old switcheroo 100 feet from the ground. I'm going to turn around and use you as my trampoline.
I've seen that in plenty of action movies. That 100% can work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll fight. We'll fight in the middle of the air.
Yeah.
We'll have a 10-minute action sequence on our way down.
Although, as far as I know, the instructor is like secured to your back, so you're gonna not put up that great of a fight. You're gonna be swinging like backwards.
Yeah. It's a lot of nut grabbing.
And I believe, is there two chutes? Does everyone have two chutes? There's like the parachute and then the emergency
proper
chute.
And yeah.
Is the emergency chute less of a parachute? Is it like the B squad parachute? Like, is it smaller? Is it more compact? If we have two, why can't we have 7 emergency chutes? Why don't we just keep having emergency parachutes to up the odds?
Yeah, why don't they make the emergency parachute out of regular parachute? Sounds like a great idea.
Right.
In case of emergency, use.
Why don't we use both so that I'm double safe when I land?
That's
why?
Like,
yeah.
It's like, I'm all out of condoms. Here, I do have a banana peel. That's all we can do.
We should be good. I got this tin foil.
Yeah. Ooh. Tin foil.
Yeah.
Pin.
Okay. Another thinking outside the box. So in high school, I don't think we ever addressed this, but in high school, I was a short time participant and roster member of Extreme Auburn Wrestling. So I thought of wrestling.
God, I forgot about that.
So that was at our friend Rob's house in his backyard. Mm-hmm. He actually built a ring. He built a ring. So posts up with ropes and everything. And they invited me over to watch one time.
But there was no matting.
There was no mat. It was on the ground.
Just the ground.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It was soft soil. And so like, he was just like, hey, we have a match. You don't have to do anything, but can you like do this part? And I'm like, sure. Like, this is at the height of the Attitude Era. So I'm like, yeah, man, sign me up. I'm like, let's go. I just thought it was the coolest thing. And like, it is completely insane. And I never was one of the guys that was like I never wanted to be in any of the extreme matches. Like, these guys were jumping through tables, bleeding and stuff like that. And like, this is just all high school kids, like ages probably 15 to 18. But I loved wrestling, and like, I thought it was so fun. Like, I gave it props to all the guys that participated, because I'm like, no one was half-assing it. Like, and it was a really cool thing. Like, Rob had it on public access television, so you could literally watch it. He would write out scripts and events and like change titles, and like he thought it out. It was all scripted as to who would win and stuff. So it was, it showed a lot of passion, and it was a fun thing to be a part of. But Yeah, I mean, after that, another thing wrestling pin made me think of is that we had this thing for one of the pledge program, or like a night on our pledge program, where the PC, or the pledge committee, or as we called it, the Brotherhood Development Committee, you know, because it sounds way more appropriate, is that it'd be BDC challenge night, and the BDC members would come up with different challenges for the pledge class to have to beat the Brotherhood Development Committee at. So one of them was wrestling, and like we told them that they had to pick like two guys for this event to go against me and my buddy Rogers, and like they picked two. It coincidentally had to be like two of the smallest guys on their thing, and then it's like all you have to do is like pin us. And so it was just really brutal on those poor guys. Like they gave up pretty heartedly, but they went for a while. But some of these challenges, like we got really creative with some, and some we got really lazy, because like the following year, 2 years later, I was in a pinch and I had to come up with something. They're like, what's your challenge? And I go, you have to beat me in rock, paper, scissors. You have to have an advantage. You have to have more wins than losses. So if you win on the first one, congratulations. Your challenge is over.
Oh, it could like, but
You
if you
just-
got up like 8-1, it would take. I mean, they might have to give up or just go forever.
It got ugly, and it got ugly fast. I think we got somewhere up in like now this is without ties. We didn't keep track of the ties. So think of how many times you tie in like a two out of 3. This got up to like about 150 win losses. And it was like 105 to like 45. Like I was dominating rock,
Dude,
paper,
how are you
scissors.
so good at that?
It's there's an element to it. All right. There is a strategy to rock, paper, scissors. You have to know your opponent. You have to know what's popular. You have to know how inquisitive and like prepared they are, because it's always kind of like the double reverse and stuff like that. But yeah, just a stupid challenge that I almost did it and wanted to get out of it. And then I just kept beating him. But then I thought it was funny because he was getting dejected on something that was so simple. And so I just kept beating the kid. And it was just, he eventually did give up. So
Let's do it right now.
That was pretty great.
Let's go right now.
I'm going to lose. You do know how this works, right? Like, because now I'm going to lose. Now
What?
we want to do 2 out of 3?
I'm not good at that. I don't play this a lot, so
Shut up.
I barely know how to play.
Shut up. 2 out of 3?
Yeah, best 2 out of 3.
All right.
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot on the cam. Ready?
Yep. Rock.
Rock,
What are you
paper.
doing? What are you doing? You're like, ready?
You go. You count. You
All
count
right.
it. You count it. Ready?
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. What are you doing? Is it that
We're
delayed?
Good. We're good. Yeah, it is. Must be.
God damn it. All right. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Damn it.
My rock
Okay.
over your scissors.
Yep. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Oh, paper over rock. 2-0. The sweep. Take
I
down
lost my
the
touch,
champ.
man.
Let's go.
This is back in the
Let's
days of
go.
my early 20s.
Woo. Hey, I still believe you though. That's a good story.
If that was a made up story, that's really sad. That's a really
That's your
sad
made-up
fake story.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a really sad
That could
accomplishment.
Dude, that's your life-defining moment.
No, it's not. Don't tell me
Yes,
that.
it is.
That sounds
I'm gonna steal
terrible.
it.
That's really
I'm gonna steal it
pathetic.
for mine.
Go for it,
Yeah.
man. Nope. I have no copyright on that. That's all yours.
Yeah. Did I ever tell you pin? I was thinking of sharp needle. Did I ever tell you? Do you know the story of my tattoos on my arm?
I mean, I know of them. I don't know
Of them?
necessarily the story behind them.
So I've got an M and an A. An M on my right arm, an A on my left arm, in the font of Metallica. So I sort of had thought about it in terms of like, I don't know. I thought about it in college that it would be like, I don't know why I thought like it'd be cool because Metallica. I've had that because like Metallica's in me, like runs through my veins. So I would have like the M and the A, and then of course, when I moved to Texas, got some drink in me with my girlfriend at the time. We're like, let's go get tattoos. I couldn't think of what to do, and I thought of that because I was like, M and A, Matt and Amanda, let's go. Perfect idea, huh?
Wow.
How about a tattoo of
What
my
could
name
possibly go
and my
wrong?
future wife's name on my body? It'll be perfect. I I'm glad I didn't put her full name on there. And now I just say, oh, it's Metallica thing. And then like, oh, is the italic on your chest? And I'm like,
It's
oh
not.
no,
It's in my heart.
it's in my heart.
Yeah.
But now it's a story forever, and I keep meaning to like add more to it and complete it, but I think I'll just instead just decide to marry somebody with the letter A in their name. It's just
That's probably
easier.
the easiest way
It's
to do it.
cheaper. It's cheaper to do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not picky. Just if you have an A, just have an A anywhere in your name. Doesn't even
Yeah.
have to start with an A.
I don't
It can
know
end
if a
with an
lot
A.
of dating profiles have that filter.
Mm-hmm.
Like you only want women whose names start with A. I don't know if a lot of dating sites allow that. It's a weird one.
But it was
But
great.
get a phone book.
Because I don't really like telling the story because I'm like, it's kind of a story that I don't mind telling. It's just like it's gonna make me sound like a complete idiot.
Right.
And surely enough, I am. Like I own it. But somebody asked me at work one day, and I said it, and then a girl next to me, the girl who works in pizza, she's like the pizza manager. She goes, "Well, at least you don't have a tattoo of your husband's name on your arm, and you're a lesbian." So she got a tattoo of her first husband's name, and now she's married to a woman.
Did you hug her? Because I feel like you owe her like a hug of being like,
I know.
Thank
I
you.
was like,
You've
wow.
literally told me the thing I needed to hear.
Yeah. I was like, wow, you just cleared the bases on that one.
You
like,
can't
really?
teach that in these stupid HR courses. You can't teach what she did. That's a real friend. That's a real empathetic person.
I know. I was like, wow, I do feel better.
You,
all right. You know what? You know what? I'll trade you. I'll have your husband's name on my.
I was just gonna say, you're like,
that.
actually, ironically enough, I have your husband's name tattooed on my ass.
Yeah. It's a little tramp stamp. We were talking about that. Probably shouldn't have been at a work event with kids the other day. We were playing volleyball. We were playing beach volleyball for work, and started talking about tramp stamps and which ones we were gonna get. And I thought it'd be fun to have one that says, "Openings, inquire within." I said, "Openings, inquire within."
That is terrible.
No. What is a good tramp stamp? I can't decide what might be. Like, do you go full on? Do you own it?
What? Yeah, no, dude, it's a mullet. Stamp? It's a mullet. You only can do it out of irony. There isn't an appropriate one.
So it's got to be like Dave Bautista barbed wire, or like the tribal, full tribal down there.
Oh, that like his belly button one, his Godsmack tattoo on his belly button.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think you can. Well, the thing is that girls, there's no point for girls to do it now, because now it's all about high-waisted pants. And so now we are beyond the world of like the low-waisted pant of our days of like high school and college, where it was all about low-waisted pants so the tattoo would show. Now mom jeans are back in full effect.
I know. But I like that somebody, I think it's cool to have one though, because then it's still a story, and it's like, I got this tattoo in 2004.
Oh yeah, so I have no problem. Like, I'm not considering it weird that people did it in the past. No, not at all. I'm saying I don't think it's even a popular thought now because it doesn't come up.
It went the way of the Von Dutch. And I said it a million times. I'll say it again. The 2000s, black hole of culture. Every time I get
I was gonna say, if I get a tattoo, I'm gonna go for something more subtle, like a Bam Bam Bigelow flaming head tattoo. Yes. I think that'd be good. I think I can bring that back.
Because there's no real argument against it. I mean, it used to be like, oh, how are you gonna get a job with that? And what are you gonna look like when you're 85 years old? And it's like, I'm gonna look like I'm fucking 85 years old. The rest, are you saying I'm gonna look? You're not going to fuck me because my 85-year-old skin is going to have ink on it?
Right.
No, you're not going to fuck me because my dick is shriveled.
My grandpa was covered, like had his arms, he had solid large tattoos, and he worked at IBM. So like he debunked that right off the bat. Like it never made sense to me that people use that argument. Yeah.
Yeah.
Grandpa had the Navy ship tattoos. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand. We act like it wasn't a thing. And it's like, no, it was very much a thing. Remember that whole World War II thing? It was pretty popular. You can read about it, but a lot of people had tattoos.
Did you ever get close to getting a tattoo or think about it seriously?
No, only because the danger of the inks.
Oh yeah, that's
I'm
right.
terrified
Yeah, you
that I'm
can't
going
handle that.
to.
You can't handle
Yeah,
hair dye. Yeah.
I'm terrified that
Imagine if hair dye was in a bee stinger.
there are
That'd be
there are very natural there are natural options that I've been advised of, but I'm worried that, kind of injecting the ink into my body is a tough one to experiment with.
Did you ever have a piercing at all? Do I
Yeah,
remember that?
yeah, multiple.
What'd you have?
Well,
Ears, nose?
senior year of high school, I got my cartilage pierced on spring break.
Oh,
That didn't go well because I
yeah.
didn't
What a
maintain
great
it.
sentence.
And that, yeah, exactly. So I had my cartilage pierced. That got infected. Not infected, but it was a pain in the ass to maintain. I looked kind of like a chode. So I took it out after a couple weeks of being home. Um, and then I actually got my ears pierced when I went to North Carolina. Um, I got plugs put in. I got them up to like a 0 gauge. So for those of you that aren't familiar, in my lobes, I had them about the size of, I don't know, the diameter was maybe 3/4 of the size of a dime. Um,
Damn.
yeah, yeah, they were pretty big. And then we can't see much, but there's still like a normal piercing sized
Oh,
hole
there
that
is.
that
Yeah.
cleared up the rest of it, but that's how small it shrank back.
Wow.
So I got really lucky with the piercing. Yeah, I lost one of them. It fell out, and then I forgot to replace them. And if you don't know about like plugs, like they start healing as soon as you don't put plugs in them for like 3 or 4 days. It starts being difficult to put stuff back in. Like that's why the process of stretching is so um, kind of like ongoing for people. But yeah, they popped out somewhere in like 2012, and I just never put them back in. So I liked them though. I liked my plugs because they weren't
Did you
massive.
plan? Did you think you were going to have them for most of your life?
Hmm.
Did you even consider that? You
Yeah,
thought you just have them?
I liked them.
Yeah. Would you consider it again?
Doing it at 40,
Yeah.
I
Dude,
wouldn't.
have yourself a 40. Have yourself a midlifer.
God.
What would you be more likely to do in the
Okay.
future? Redo your ears or get a tattoo? Probably redo your
Ooh.
ears based on the allergy, or no? Would you give the tattoo a go?
I don't know, man. There's a lot of natural tattoo inks that get developed that people tell me they're like, listen, they have basically nothing in them. I trust me. I still think of the tattoo. I still look up
Hmm.
stuff and wonder if that is a possibility. If there's a safe way I can do it. Um, I feel like I should consult a good tattoo artist and a dermatologist and have them combine efforts to get me tattooed. Because I'd love to have tattoos. Like I think my whole I would have loved to have tattoos. I've always thought about having them since I was in high school. Um, my older brother had a couple. He had more of the stereotypical ones, but I had like the tribal and like a dagger with some Latin on it, I think.
Yeah.
Um,
Viking
but
shit.
yeah,
Warrior
right,
shit.
exactly. So yeah, I always wanted to have like a checkerboard band either on my arm or around my shin. Different lyrics. I'm a big lyric guy because I think lyrics are good. But I would also try to incorporate some pictures or anything like that. Always thought it would be interesting to have a sleeve that tells a bunch of different stuff. So yeah, I love tattoo culture. I think it's awesome. And I am one of the people that like look at someone's tattoo. I'm like, yo, that is awesome. Like I love cool tattoos. Like what was that show? Ink Masters. That was really cool.
Yeah, yeah. Dave Navarro's Sexy Hair Emporium show.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
All that. Yeah. Yeah, I'd like to get more. I don't know why I haven't. I perpetually have ideas for them, and I guess not even that. I don't even care to have the best idea. I just honestly just kind of forget that I want to get tattoos, and I
Mm-hmm.
just never go and get them. Like I think about it for a day or like 15 minutes, and then I forget to like do it or make it a
I
thing
forget to
or
want.
Yeah, basically. So I guess I don't want it bad enough. But there's a lot of
Okay.
things I would like, you know. I mean, especially like as a gamer, there's a lot of easy, cool shit that's part of my life, or a lot of musical stuff, a lot of stuff from places I've been to or traveled, like different insignias or logos or um, spots I visited. So yeah, I'd like to combine it into like a either a sleeve or a leg thing. You know, who knows?
Yep.
I got a long
Teardrop.
time. Got a long time to figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Treat yourself.
Yeah. But yeah, if you got you know, I tell you what, if you have an M in your name too, I'll I'll consider you. I'll use the A as the MA and Matt. So
What?
desperate. MA, my tattoos. M and A, just like you guys, come on.
You just put
I
two
need
T's
this.
like on your back. Be like, oh
On the
yeah, it reads
yeah.
across.
Yeah.
It reads across. The T's are on the back.
Mm-hmm.
Or combine
Here,
them and do
incentive. If you
Metallica.
mm-hmm. Tell you what, if you want to go out with me for one date, I will tattoo your face on my face.
What? That is
Um,
a really weird to say. I don't understand. And
yeah,
I actually, it's weird because I don't understand it. Did you just offer to
I don't know
tattoo
how it would work.
someone's face onto your face?
Yeah.
Hmm.
I will wear you. No, I don't want to say that.
Nope. Nope. That's two Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yeah.
I will wear your face on my face. Mm-hmm.
Speaking of Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Jeff and I might be playing it later. I started streaming on the YouTube channel, so check it out. Jeff and I now officially I've got the computer in. It's sitting in front of me. It's beautiful. It works really well.
Yep.
And we just did a little test. So we're gonna do a gaming situation here now in September. For Labor Day, get you guys back to school right with some Nintendo. All
September.
right,
Nintendo in
got
September.
football season coming up. Got a lot of drama. Got a new guy in the league.
Yeah.
He was welcomed with open arms.
Yep. Shane is the
Um,
new person in the league. Is now in year 14 of its in existence. So pretty wild. But now we have a championship belt to vie for.
yep, very exciting things.
Mm.
Yeah, probably on the year anniversary of this podcast, one of us may have a championship belt in hand.
Wow.
That'll
And
be special.
if not, we'll just kill the podcast. It'll just end with that.
Yeah, it'll end.
Yeah. Because we're just a bunch of losers
Um,
talking about nothing.
let's do random word generator because I don't feel like honestly. It took me way too much research to look up 3 words that we've never used before. It took me like 4 minutes today, and I don't have that in me. I just don't.
That makes sense.
And we'll roll. Steep school behavior. It's just in time for the season. Steep
Season of behavior.
school behavior.
Steep
Very good.
school behavior.
Well, thank you all for watching. Thanks for tuning in. If you made it this far, certainly loved having you. Appreciate you. Appreciate all the likes.
When this comes out, we'll be rolling into Labor Day weekend. Right. Our listeners will be rolling into Labor Day weekend when this episode comes out.
So have yourself a fall,
Fall down the stairs or
yeah.
Right?
Good one.
Is it yeah, that's funny. Yeah, I don't know. I'm so bad with dates. Labor Day weekend I felt has been like 3 weeks away for the last 3 weeks. Also cuz it's just hot. It's just too damn hot. Rent's too damn high.
Doesn't mean anything to me because I don't have weekends. Doesn't work like that for me anymore.
Remember
Day off
weekends?
is a day off.
Do you remember weekends,
No,
Matt?
not really.
Okay.
Every day off is a holiday to me. That's
true.
my holiday.
Because you don't have to fake about caring about people.
Yeah. So, happy holidays.
Good night, everybody.